Hi, everybody. My name is Kirsten. I am about to share part one of my ectopic pregnancy story. I'm 31 years old now. I live in Michigan, and I experienced an ectopic pregnancy in February of 2022. Now, before I get into all of that, I wanted to go back a little bit regarding the background of my husband and I and when we decided to try to start a family. Um, my husband Jeff and I met in February of 2018. We met on Match.com and were a 98% match. We always joke back and forth that we would have been 100% if he fit my height requirements, but that's just a joke between us now. But we were pretty much a 100% match because that same year in August, just a few months later, he proposed to me. So we got engaged in August of 2018. We got married in October of 2019. And we knew that we always wanted to start a family. That was always really important to us. However, we wanted to enjoy a couple years of just us. We wanted to live it up, have fun, really just grow our bond, grow our relationship, and experience all sorts of things. So we did that for a couple years, and 2022 came around, and we thought, okay, we've had a really awesome 3+ years together. Let's start trying to grow our family so we can experience life with littles. So in January of 2022, we decided to try to conceive. And we were very blessed, very grateful that we conceived our first month. Now, we were completely shocked, as most are when they decide to try to have a baby. It was February 5th, 2022, that I tested positive, and I surprised Jeff with my pregnancy test. He was very shocked, as was I. But again, we were very blessed and very thankful that it happened so quickly. Now, since this was our first pregnancy, we had no idea what to expect. A lot of my friends didn't have kids. They weren't pregnant. I had one friend that was pregnant, and I was able to ask her questions. I basically asked her all the questions. And anyway, the day I tested positive, I was spotting and bleeding quite a bit. I mean, it was every day. And I thought that was a cause for concern, but I also know that it's just a normal symptom of pregnancy. And some women experience that and have normal, healthy pregnancies, and some don't. Sometimes bleeding and spotting is a sign that something could be wrong. I always remained hopeful that everything was fine. I mentioned that to my doctor. The doctor confirmed that these things happen, but keep an eye on it. And if things worsen, to reach out to them. Anyway, nothing ever became worse. It just never stopped. And I didn't have to go get my HCG levels tested until, I don't know, a couple weeks. I looked into my medical chart to see the dates that I first started testing HCGs, and it was February 21st. So That was, let's see, 16 days past testing positive. Um, my HCGs, that first level was 586. And my doctor thought, okay, that looks good. Let's test again in 2 days to see if that number doubles. Well, so I go back February 23 and the numbers were 600. So it only went up 14 points or numbers, levels, I'm not sure. So it only increased just a little bit. So that was cause for concern for my doctor. And, I do want to mention that from February 5 to February 23, when I got my second blood draw for HCG levels, Jeff and I were so excited. We were over the moon, just so excited for what our life was going to be. And, we started planning how we were going to tell our parents and my brothers. We went to Bye Bye Baby and started a registry. We ordered nursery furniture because during that time it was still backed up due to COVID. So when we were at Bye Bye Baby, they had mentioned you should order your furniture now because it'll take 6 months minimum to get your furniture. So Jeff and I were like, okay, we need to really get ahead of the game. So we ordered our furniture. And it's actually like really heartbreaking to think about that we jumped the gun, and it shouldn't be like that. We should be able to be excited and do all of the exciting things. I mean, at the time, we didn't know all of that excitement would be ripped away from us. Um, but looking back, it is really sad to think about. Um, but anyway, I just wanted to share all of that to highlight how excited and how much we did in that first, you know, 16-ish days. So, again, back to the second blood draw and my doctor seeing that my numbers didn't double. She wanted me to come in for an ultrasound to see if they could find a fetus, and they couldn't. They found a gestational sac, but they couldn't really confirm that that's what they saw, but they seemed to think that they couldn't find a viable pregnancy in my uterus. And they had let me know that after the ultrasound. And I just didn't want to give up. I didn't want to give up that I was having a miscarriage or an ectopic pregnancy. At one point, they did tell me that I was not having an ectopic pregnancy. And I think it's because they thought they saw a gestational sac in my uterus. But anyway, so it was never confirmed at that time that I was having an ectopic pregnancy. They just mentioned potential miscarriage and it could potentially be an ectopic pregnancy. We just don't know because it was soon. When I had the ultrasound, I was just a little over 5 weeks pregnant. So I was really early still. So my personality is a never give up type of personality. So when the doctors were telling me that this is what may be happening, I didn't want to give up. So I asked for another round of labs to test HCG levels. So on February 25th, my HCG levels were 628. So that only increased 28 in 2 days. And then I did one more, and my numbers decreased to 575 on February 27th. I got a call, and I will never forget that I was sitting at this very desk working on this computer, and my doctor called me, and she said that we've had the feeling that something is off with this pregnancy based on your HCG levels and your ultrasound. And we need to intervene now because your life is potentially at risk if it is an ectopic pregnancy. So she had said that because my HCG levels decreased, that it was time to get treated. Again, they never confirmed that it was an ectopic pregnancy, but they thought that that's what it was, and they didn't want to move forward anymore. Um, they didn't want to take any additional time to figure out or confirm that it's an ectopic because, timing wise, my tube or ovary could rupture if it was an ectopic. So, um, March 1st was the day I went in for an emergency dose of methotrexate. And I will never, never forget that day. I'll never forget how defeated I felt walking into a clinic knowing that I'd walk out uh, with, well, I'd say without a baby, but it was the beginning steps of killing the cells in my body that were supposed to be a baby. Um, yeah, I'll never forget the patient room that I was in and the pictures on the walls, the the intense heat that I felt as soon as I received the injections. It was almost like a wave of heat went in my body and I could feel it like going down. It was so wild. Um, yeah, it's unexplainable. And those that have gone through this experience are the only ones who understand. My husband was so supportive. Um, my mom and dad were really supportive. I didn't tell my brothers about anything until I knew that I was going to be okay. Receiving methotrexate changed my life and changed my entire outlook on life. And I had no idea how hard the next few weeks following methotrexate were going to be. Shit, I had no idea how hard life was going to be after receiving methotrexate. It's physically and mentally exhausting. And I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. I really wouldn't. But I'm here today over almost 3 years, actually. Yeah. It's almost been 3 years since I received methotrexate and found out about my ectopic pregnancy diagnosis, but I'm here to show you that there is life on the other side, and you will get through it. As hard as it can be, you will get through it, and I know I'll dive into this in episodes to come, but I had my rainbow baby in 2023. So I am an example of a success story following an ectopic pregnancy, and I'm excited to share more of that story and provide hope for some of you who may be in the thick of the darkness, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is light. I think I'm going to end this episode now, and then I'm going to create another episode to highlight, um, the hours, the days, the weeks after receiving methotrexate. So that's going to be part 2 of my story. But thank you for listening, and just thank you for watching. I hope this has helped you, or maybe send this to a friend who may be experiencing an ectopic. I hope this helps them. Bye.